Okay, so here's the school scene. Here's what the camera can see. So here is what gets rendered. Just this. Just what the camera would be able to see from its perspective. You can kind of sort of see the the greenhouse. So that gets rendered. Apparently those trees get rendered because they're just barely in view. The whole hedge maze doesn't get rendered, but a bit does. You know the drill. It's kind of cone, triangular cone shape is what gets rendered. So even though the player should not be able to see through these doors because the doors are closed, this area gets rendered. And not only that, but even a little bit of stuff beyond gets rendered. I mean, it kind of makes sense to me that like this wall gets rendered, because if this door, you know, it's not a static object, so it can't be marked as an occluder. So the camera just renders whatever on the other side of it because the door might be out of the way when the camera's rendering. So it makes sense it would render this wall, but I'm so surprised that it actually renders everything beyond as well, even though everything in here is also marked as static. But anyway, the whole crux of the issue here is that all this stuff beyond those doors is being rendered, even though the player will never be able to see beyond this point if the doors are closed. So let's, it would be ideal if there was this, if like the game just pretended there's a big static block right here, and it just pretends, hey, no, I can't see past this, I can't render all that. So if I go to occlusion, clear, bake, it's computing the occlusion right now. And now it's done. And nothing beyond here gets rendered. Well, actually, that tree does, I guess because the tree is clipping into the wall. Kind of dumb. But a whole bunch of stuff stops getting rendered. Now there's much, much less being rendered. All that whole area over there not getting rendered. These marked as static. Yeah, they are. Oh well. Now the game acknowledges, you know, sometimes there's a block there. Sometimes the block is on, sometimes it's off. But there's a thing blocking the camera from rendering. So if I just had some code that says, you know, turn this block off whenever the doors are open, then theoretically that should allow us to you know, not be rendering this whole area when we don't want to be rendering it. So let's launch the game and see if that works. So this is the part where the game loads. You're about to find out that it takes around 45 seconds for me to launch into the game. Right now, this right here, this is loading. I can't move the camera or anything. It's loading. Loading the whole game. It doesn't take this long when when I'm playing the full game. When I export an executable of the game, it takes like, I guess 10 seconds to load into the school. But it takes 45 or possibly more when I'm in the editor. A lot of waiting. A lot of waiting. Okay, so here we are. I move the mouse around. So when I open this door, I'm going to see nothing because that block is is occluding the camera. Now what if I was to turn that block off? I'm going to select the cube. Turns out it was actually off to begin with. There is the cube. Whether or not the cube is on or off, the game recognizes that it's an occluder and does not render what's on the other side of it. So if you're standing right here, it will always be blank. Because just turning off the cube, turning it on and off, doesn't impact how the camera renders. The camera will always render as if the cube is in the way. There is no way for me to say, you know, hey, when the cube is on, don't render. When the cube is off, go ahead and render. It's just going to always render. It's going to always pretend the cube is occluding. Which is very unfortunate, because I thought this was a really good idea, and I was really eager to test it out and see if it worked. I really thought this was going to work. I'm sad that it doesn't work. Would have been great if it had worked. I really, really wanted to see that, but no. It's occluding even if it's inactive. Maybe there's some setting I need to toggle that's going to make it work. I don't know. If you know, please tell me. Thanks for your time.